60 wins and counting. So
Yeah, it's funny. It was a perfect segue because that's actually the next topic I wanted to ask you about was
it's
like
like, how did
the
I
six.
know?
I don't know, your brainwaves over here. Are you kind of surprised with the 60 wins? Because I know like before the season started, I saw like Vegas lines at like 44 and a half. And then like we win 60. Like, are you just kind of surprised of the progression from going from 44 to 60?
I am. I think if you ask anyone, even with our broadcast crew, we've talked about it, countless times. 60, if you would have told me this team would have reached 60 wins at the beginning of the season, I would have said, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, I knew we set the bar high last year, already tripling our win total to go from 14 to 44.
Hmm.
So if we were gonna hit 44 or 45 once again, that's a win, right? Like that's an over 500 season already at that point. But to be at 60, I think is look, they took playoffs last year and realized how sucky it was to not make it out of the first round. And I think they truly, you can't teach that feeling of like wanting to be back and work harder. Like you just have to experience it. And I think all of them and having their first taste of playoffs last year gave them this juice and this firepower that they were never satisfied. Like even once they passed 44 this year, they're like, yeah, it's cool, but work's not done. They even JB just said that too after their final regular season game. Like, look, we have so much more work to do. The expectations are here, but we're trying to go even further than that. So I am surprised, but at the same time, with how hard these guys work and how mad they get at themselves, even after a win, but it wasn't their best performance, they're still just driven to be better. And it was just really inspiring for me to be around that kind of like motivational talk and just being around them in the locker room. So I'm surprised. I expected them to finish between 45 and 50. So this is for sure beyond, I think, what a lot of people thought.
Kind of just like looking back from last year to this year, what would you kind of say if you could pinpoint like the biggest change from JB's first year to his second year with the guys?
Yeah, I've thought about this question a lot, and I think it is hard to pinpoint one specific thing. I think it's a mix of things. I think last year they finally were able to get the right leadership in place with JB and Trajan and bringing in the right guys as far as veterans at the time when you had Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley and then Tobias. And then when Dennis Schroeder came in, that was at the perfect moment to help propel them to the playoffs. I think they finally had some structure and an identity that they wanted to go after, right? And so JB had to get to know these guys his first year and understand how they operate. And he didn't have a guy like Asar Thompson the entire season to work with and understand his strengths. And Jalen Duren was still trying to figure some things out. And I think JB finally having, you know, a full summer, a playoff experience with those specific guys, being able to just understand how each guy can play into the system, I think paid dividends because now he understood, okay, here's what we need to do to get Jalen Duren from point A to point B, and he's taken an unbelievable leap. Here we don't have some of these veterans anymore, but now the guys understand it takes some leadership, not just on the court, but vocal leadership as well. And I think guys took steps that way. So I think we saw improvements just in the locker room as far as guys being able to step up and hold each other accountable. I think JB got to know them a lot better and understand how to utilize them. And then I think the other thing, what we talked about just a bit ago, is just having that playoff experience. I think gives you a little something different to add to just to your resume. Like they understand the pain of not being able to get past that first round, and you see what they've done to the Knicks this year, and each time they played them, a little BTA. I mean, talk about having motivation, and then if things go the way we want them to go and we play Charlotte in the first round, talk about even more motivation. I mean, so
Oh
that
man.
just gives you something. So I think the combination of those things has changed the team in the best of ways. And you brought in new vets this year that also, have contributed in a positive way. And Cade finally had some help, spacing wise, having another shooter in Duncan Robinson. And so all that. I think there's just a lot of reasons. You could pinpoint a lot of different things, but do you see it the same way, or are there things that you have noticed too that have helped?
I think their first season, they had to actually learn how to win games because they didn't really get to, experience that
Right.
with previous regimes, only winning 14 games. But I
Mm-hmm.
think as like the season kind of went on, they started understanding like how important a possession is, how important it is to win a quarter, how important it is to rotate defensively and communicate. Like they really didn't do that. And like also like changing coaches every year probably was really hard on not only like Jalen Duren, Cade, and Stu. Like you got to think like they went from Dwayne Casey to Monty Williams to JB, and it's the second time where they actually had the same coach. Like they had Dwayne Casey for quite some time, but obviously they were going through a rebuild and they're young kids still trying to figure it out. But I think I give more credit to like JB of just kind of making it like fun. Like Jalen Duren has
That
completely
too.
come out of his shell. Like he was really like shy and quiet, and I feel like every post game interview, he's like crashing your post game interviews or like, hey, I'm gonna say something, and then just like walk away. Like I feel
I'm
like
still pissed about that. What did he have to say? He's like, I got to tell the world something. What did he? It was something like that. I got to tell the world something, and I'm like, yeah. It gave me nothing and ran away. I'm like, you can't do that, my guy.
no. I think you just kind of see like the joy, like you see in the locker room, like when they get the belt away, you just see kind of like the connectivity that they have in games. It's real. It almost feels like college atmosphere in a little bit. Like if you play college sports in any way, like they're just so connective, and they're like a family.
It really is, and I know it's every good team says just that. We're all brothers, we're like a family, but I've been trying to tell people that even, I mean, last year you felt it, but this year even more. The team chemistry has been off the charts, and it's such a joy to be around and witness, and even the little things like the passing of the belt. I think when that started, it's given the guys an opportunity to, give kudos to someone after the game. They've given it to JB on his birthday or when he's
Yeah.
hit a milestone in his coaching, or that, they gave it to Kong, the equipment manager, at one point. Like it gives the guys a chance to celebrate each other and just have some fun with it. And it helped them create their quote that they always say, together all the time together. And it's true. They spend so much time together, and on the road, I can see those guys are going out to eat. They're hanging out, talking in our meal room, which lucky enough, they let us FanDuel people sit with them at breakfast and dinner. And we can go and sit with Cade if we want to and just chat and talk about life, which is awesome. Like it gives us a chance to build some trust with them too, and just witness a lot of this, just fun lightheartedness. And I think, JB does such a good job at making sure they do that. He wants to see that, just those friendships blossom. And there was one other point I remember this year too. The team, I think we had just, it was the start of the West Coast trip and around Christmas, and I think we had just lost to Utah. We started in Utah, and then forget who came after that. Hold on, we had Portland, Utah. It all mumbles together for me, but it was, I want to say it was 2 or 3 straight losses. And JB was like, you know what? We're gonna get to LA. The guys think we're gonna have a typical shoot around or a practice, but guess what? We're not. And he took them to play soccer, if you remember that. I think an article came out later on about that, but it's like that kind of stuff. He could have been hard on them and said, "Look, we're gonna have an even longer practice today, and I'm gonna get on you guys." But he was like, they just needed some time to just have fun and laugh, and we won the next few, or well, we lost against the Clippers, but won against the Lakers. So it was like sometimes you got to have those moments where you just got to sit back and like step away from the sport a little bit and spend time together. I think that makes a huge difference.
I think it's like also like the human element of it also. Like I think a lot of people when they think of like an NBA head coach, they think, it's just practice, 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 watching film. But I think JB does a really good job of actually like caring about the players, and you can honestly see it like in interviews. You can see it just the way like in team huddles, even like the pregame rituals, which is like hilarious to watch them like
Oh
kind of like
my
that.
gosh, them fighting each other. I'm like, only the Pistons. Only the Pistons. But yes, JB is so animated. He is the first one to get on the refs for a bad call or a no call. I mean, he I love that from him though. You need that passion. You need to have a coach that you can look at and be like, that guy has my back through anything. And I just love that he gets fired up and then it fires us up. We're like, yeah, JB, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, like I would say Brooklyn to me has the best acoustics in the NBA when you're
Brooklyn.
watching it
Okay.
when you're watching a game because usually like I have to wait until I forget the NBA account that does kind of like the lip reading for like stuff to come out. But in Brooklyn, like you can hear the whole sentence. Like he's like first name, like not Mr. Like, come on, man, that's not a foul. Oh, now you blow your whistle. And then he's like clapping, like congrats. Like, okay,
I know.
he is a dog.
It's the best. Yes, he is a certified dog, JB, 100%. That's why he blends right in with this team. It's perfect, and they've adapted to the identity that he has established from the start. They're physical, they're defensive, minded, they're scrappy. And JB is the ringleader of it all.